Sanbonan Jinglang, hello, it's Simply Spisser here and welcome back to my channel if you're watching the video of this, but also a special welcome to those listening to the audio podcast, Simply Do the Work. Now, okay, first of all, I just want to say that I need to do this real quick because it's late in the afternoon, so I'm fighting with the sun, I'm racing with the sun right now. Hopefully I can get all my points across before the sun goes down. But we're not here to ramble about the sun. What are we here to talk about? So, okay, first of all, I'm sure some people, but I think by the time this is out, I think most of you guys watching this will know about my podcast. And I think I just want to quickly give you all a brief of how the podcast came to be, in case you're curious about that. Basically, although I launched it on a whim, what happened was, I did my last video, which was speaking about the hashtag Black Lives Matter movement and also my own personal stories with racial injustice and microaggression. And after I did that video, I was like, this is exactly the type of things I want to be talking about on my podcast. What am I waiting for? Let me just launch the podcast. Because I've actually been planning this for over half a year. I've had the desire to do a podcast for almost 2 years, but the actual planning I've been working on for half a year. And I pulled up Beyonce on y'all. No prior announcement, no hype. I just said, boom, there it is. This is what we're doing. So yeah, now that, okay, we've got that little story out of the way, what are we going to be discussing today? So the title for today, the way I've titled this video/podcast episode is Finding My Voice and Finally Speaking Up for Myself. After I put out that video on racism and Black Lives Matter, I did some reflecting and I realized that one of the reasons why it was so hard for me to speak up when it comes to racial issues is because any issue in general in life, I'd have problems opening up. I'd have problems voicing myself. And I remember once I was talking to my mom and she was saying how when she's watching my YouTube videos, that's the most myself I seem. I seem so comfortable. I seem so free. And she's basically saying, what can we do here at home for you to be that free, that comfortable, and that open? And it made me realize how, when I just look at my videos and, think about the person I was when I started my channel, the person I was last year, the person I am now, the person I'm becoming, I'm realizing that, hey, I'm actually slowly but surely finding my voice, coming into my own as a person, and speaking up for myself a lot more than I did, say, 2.5 years ago when I started this channel. And so I thought, okay, how can I basically channel the same confidence, channel the same bravery and courage that I channel online? How can I bring that into real life? How can I basically give practical steps to apply them in the real life? And then I came up with 3 bullet points that I'm going to share with you guys, and hopefully this can help you guys not only find your voice online but also in real life, in all situations. So, okay, the first point I have is, you need to find a safe, affirming space for you. The safe, affirming space that I found was YouTube. That became a safe haven for me because that's where, right now I'm speaking to a camera. I can freely say my thoughts. I can freely express myself because there's no one who's gonna butt in and interject. Where sometimes, that those friends where, or even sometimes you'll find you in a group of people, you try to speak up about how you're feeling about something and they cut you off. Whereas when I sit down, make a video, edit it, I'm able to, see how can I articulate what I want to say clearly and put it up online. And, I know, yes, putting stuff online does have, the negative effects of you can't control always who receives your message and you can always get backlash. But, looking at my subscribers and the people who are always leaving comments in my videos, I found that, okay, this is actually a safe space I've created for myself. This is a community of people who, think like me, or at least understand where I'm coming from and are willing to hear me out and also, share their thoughts, which I think we all deserve that. We all need that. I think that's very important if you want to cultivate finding yourself. You need a safe space so you can freely, fumble, say things and know that, okay, you know what, I'll politely and kindly be corrected. So that's the first thing. Find a community, find a safe space, and if you can't find an existing one, create one for others, because you might find that there are people who are just waiting for you to speak up. That's what I found with the response from my last video. I got response from saying, oh my goodness, thank you so much for speaking up about this. And even with other videos, people would tell me, I was also thinking that, but I didn't know that, I thought I was the only one. And I think that really ties us nicely into the second point, which is seek representation. There's a quote I wrote down here which says, you can't be what you've never seen. And I think that is so true, because sometimes, you have a thought in your head, you're like, okay, I think this, or I feel like I want to do this, or I feel like I'm this person, but you feel like, but like no one around me, no one within my immediate vicinity thinks like that, talks like that. And I think the beauty of the day and age we're living in now is that we can go online and seek representation, like something which, and the reason why I say seek, get to be consciously aware of it, is because I noticed around about 2018, I noticed that, a lot of the people I'm following, while yes, I do get entertainment from them, some of them it's kind of like, I don't necessarily see myself on them. If you think of YouTube, for example, the big YouTubers, like international, globally, I'm talking like on a global scale, the big international YouTubers, most of them are white, and this is nothing against them. It's just that when I'm watching their content, I'm watching their videos, they don't look like me, number one. Number two, their backgrounds are different, they come from different countries, and it's very important sometimes to see yourself on the screen. I don't think people, if you're not marginalized in any way, you don't understand how important it is to see someone who looks like you, who thinks like you, who has similar experiences as you, who believes in what you believe in. And so from about 2018, I became more conscious of the people that I follow. I became, I look at the musicians I was listening to, I look at the TV shows I was watching, the YouTubers, podcasts, and I started reading books. And actually, by doing that, by seeking more accurate representation of myself, I was better able to find and understand myself, because sometimes I can watch someone who, doesn't come from the same background as me, and still obviously there can be things that I learn from them. Obviously, because we're all living on this earth, we do have common shared experiences. Doesn't mean because you're white, doesn't mean that I'm now gonna, shut my ears, close my eyes, put on my blinders, and be like, yeah, no, you don't look like me, so there's nothing I can gain from you. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I do think, sometimes when you get fed all these messages, especially subconsciously, it can sort of erode who you are. You sometimes can get lost in all the messaging out there, being like, okay, actually, what's right, what's wrong, who am I hope I'm making sense. I feel like I'm a little rambly there, but that brings us on to our third point. I feel like all these points really actually intersect with one another. But the third thing I wrote down here is, don't be afraid of trying new things. When I started YouTube, I was doing, let me just apologize to everyone who was forced to watch the earlier videos I made for like the first 9 months of this channel. I am so sorry, y'all. What was that doing? A mess. I feel like then I started the channel, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do on YouTube. I didn't really know what my target audience was. And so I was just trying everything that I've seen, all the type of videos that I'd watched, and I enjoyed, okay, let me try this, let me try that. And I'm not looking down on that period of my life. I'm not looking down on that part of my YouTube journey. It's just, I look at it and think, wow. When I look at where I'm at now, I know that I wouldn't get to where I am now if I didn't go through that whole experimentation phase, that whole being lost phase. I think sometimes we feel pressure to have everything figured out at an early age, because we see, people who aren't even who haven't even hit their 20s earning millions of dollars, and we feel like, oh my word, this person has found their passion, this person seems to have found their purpose at a young age, and I don't know what I'm doing. But I want to encourage you guys with some words from one of my favorite YouTubers, Joey Kidney. I'm paraphrasing him here, but basically said, even when you're acting like someone else, you're still being you. You're just you being someone else. Because at the end of the day, I might, like for example, Joey, I might look up to Joey. I might, aspire to be like Joey. I could literally set out to copy every little thing that Joey does, but I'll never be Joey. I'll still just be Spencer doing Joey. And sometimes in the process of doing other things, even if it's not you, you get to realize who you aren't. I think as you realize who you aren't, you get a lot closer to realizing who you are. Because, like, actually, maybe I'm not as funny as I think I am. Maybe, I'm not as creative as this person, but I'm creative in another sphere. And, I think, yeah, that basically sums up how I was able to find myself and find my voice online, and how to basically channel that energy in real life. It's kind of like how I realized that, okay, because let's say in relationships, right? In relationships, and I mean by relationship, I mean friendship, I mean roommate, colleagues, classmates, whatever it might be. I found that I tend to let things slide. I tend to, if something bothers me, I will not speak up instantly. I'd rather be like, you know what? Let me just, let's not rock the boat too much. Let me just, just grin and bear it. But then I was listening to Kendrick Lamar today, and he posed the question, are you a natural fighter, or do you only fight when your back is against the wall? And those words really shook me. I was like, wow. I think for most of my life, I'd only fight when my back's against the wall. Only when the pressure got too much, I was like, okay, no, I can't take this anymore. Looking at how in relationships with other people, if someone does me wrong and it's like a minor thing, I tend to I'd sweep it under the rug. But now if you think about it, if you just sweep dirt under the rug the whole time, eventually it's gonna accumulate. And one day when you're walking, it's gonna trip you, and then you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, you know what, this mess, what. And I think basically what would happen in relationships, for example, is I'd let all these small offenses go. I'd let them slide till either A, they just became too many offenses that I had to speak up and say, whoa, okay, you can't keep wronging me like this. Or the person would do one major offense, and then all these little ones that I had been, holding back, they also just come out. And instead of naturally just every day, every time something, even if it's small, because something my parents have, they preach a lot, is how you do anything is how you do everything. And I think, if you can't speak up for yourself in the minuscule, in the everyday, in the mundane things, like someone takes your pen without asking you don't like that, then when it comes to bigger social issues, things that are bigger than you, that's chances of you speaking up then are very slim, and until it affects you directly. I feel like that's what happens. I feel like sometimes you get someone who had been quiet their entire lives about issues till it affects them directly. Like there's this song by Evan and Eris that I love called People, and actually let me pull up the lyrics and read them to you guys because they just speak to me. Okay, so verse 1 says, people say that they know what's going on, then turn around and act like nothing's wrong. And I don't get it, because it could be me and you. We're just separated by the ignorance of what to do. We're trying so hard to try and numb ourselves, but who knew that we'd be the ones who needed help? We don't know what it feels like to live in love, because we are the ones who treasure the pleasure of. Try to get out of our comfort zone, but not too much. It has to happen to our neighbor for us to just get up. No, I don't even get it, but I know we just gotta quit it. And yeah, that's basically the part I wanted to read. And I think, let's not get it twisted, okay? I'm still on a journey here, okay? I'm still figuring this out. Like, I'm only 20 years old. right now I also obviously feel like I'm most comfortable with myself than I've ever been. And I'll probably, this time next year will come and I'll look back at this time and be like, whoa, the growth. Because literally thinking back to last year this time, I thought I figured it all out. I thought, yes, found myself. But I think that is the thing. Life, though this is a cliche, life isn't about the destination, it's about the journey. And right now, in the present moment, because something, yeah, if you've been following my channel for a while, I think I've said this a couple of times, that the most important thing we have is the present moment, because that's the only moment in time that truly exists. The past is something that already happened and we can never go back to it, and the future is merely a figment of our imaginations. Even, the few minutes that passed before I started filming this video, that's gone. I can't go back then. But what exists is right now as I'm filming this, right now as you're listening to the sound of my voice. Are you happy with who you are? Are you happy with where you're at in life? If not, what are you going to do to change that? And on that note, I just want to say thank you so much for watching and or listening. I feel like this was a little bit all over the place, a little bit rambly, but I hope you guys were able to follow through with my train of thought. If you enjoyed this video, thank you so much for watching. Please do hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new video. If you're listening to the podcast audio, please do make sure to follow me on Spotify. I'm working on getting the podcast out on all the major distribution platforms. So if you're listening there right now, please do subscribe, follow, rate, and review. And until I see you guys in the next one, or until you hear from me in the next one, I love you so much. Bye, guys.